Bankrupt budget. After $1.5 trillion gift to the rich, Trump demands $1.7 trillion in safety net cuts. And this is from Common Dreams. Staff members display recently released printed copies of U.S. President Donald Trump's fiscal year 2019 budget at the House Budget Committee on Capitol Hill, February 12, 2018, in Washington, D.C. Those wondering how President Donald Trump plans to pay for the $1.5 trillion in tax cuts for the rich he signed into law last year got their answer on Monday, when the White House unveiled its 2019 budget blueprint that calls for $1.7 trillion in cuts to crucial safety net programs over the next decade, including $237 billion in cuts to Medicare alone. Millions of Americans will lose access to life-saving programs because the GOP gave $1.5 trillion in tax cuts to the rich, while imposing severe austerity on domestic programs that primarily benefit poor and middle-class Americans. Trump's proposal also aims to hike the Pentagon's budget to $716, a 7% increase from his 2018 budget request, and provide $18 billion for the wall. The Trump budget is morally bankrupt and bad economic policy, Senator Bernie Sanders wrote on Twitter Monday, shortly after the White House proposal was made public. Critics were quick to note that such severe cuts to health care programs that serve the elderly, the disabled, the poor, will likely come with a body count. Millions of Americans will lose access to life-saving programs because the GOP gave $1.5 trillion in tax cuts to the rich, the advocacy group Tax March wrote on Twitter. In addition to calling for potentially devastating cuts to health care, food stamps, and other components of America's already withering safety net, Trump's budget also calls for large cuts to environmental programs, including $598 million from the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. President Trump's budget is nothing short of devastating for all Americans who value clean air, safe drinking water, and protected public lands. Reese Sewell, president of the Natural Resources Defense Council, said in a statement on Monday, "Though presidential budget requests are non-binding, they are a strong indicator of the White House's goals and values," as Indivisible senior policy manager Chad Bolt observed while analyzing the newly released document. Trump's budget proposal is just a proposal, but it's a clear statement of his priorities, Bolt noted. Making deep cuts to programs families rely on has been a priority since day one. All right, there you have it. I told you, I told you, I told you. I told you, I told you, I told you. I told you this was coming all the way since, I told you this was coming since April, when the Army War College actually printed its proposal that it needed more money. And then in September, when Congress and Donald Trump gave him more money, I told you this was coming. And then the tax plan that gave corporations, they say $1.5 trillion. I've heard as much as $5 trillion. But the final count won't come for a while. 2018 is going to be a very, very pivotal year. The corporations got the pony for Christmas, and the American public got the lump of coal. In fact, we only got a half a lump of coal because it's going to be a very, very cold year in winter, because they're not cutting fat. They're getting ready to cut to the bone. And this is just starting. You know, he already started cutting his first year, and basically he's going to take an axe. So it's time to get out of debt. It's time to stop frivolous spending. Austerity is going to be in full force under Trump. Obama did his job by bridging the gap and making sure the banks didn't collapse. Now that they're sure that the banks are not going to collapse, you're going to get an interest rate rise, you're going to get money tightening, and you're going to get a budget crunch where all these services will dry up. I'm not saying all. Most of these services will dry up. Everything except the very bare minimum. And if automation comes in like I think it's going to come in, it's going to get worse. The only thing that may relieve some of this stress is that the prices of things will drop because of automation. Price of goods, price of food, the price of health care could drop. Maybe that's what they're counting on, but we'll see. 2018 will be a pivotal year, mark my word. I said it before. 2018, and we'll know by 2020 exactly what's going on before Trump actually gets out of office. Because 2021, before he leaves office, we'll know what direction the country is actually going to go in. Personally, I wish we could have had a better president that was more experienced to actually guide us through this, but we have what we have. And hopefully, just hopefully, he will be a good president because we need a good president. I've said that before. I didn't vote for him. I don't particularly like him. I don't like him as president. But the thing is, he's the guy in office. And we need him to be good. Because if he's not good, a lot of people are going to get hurt. But with that, I'm going to jump off of here. This is BGS out, and I will see you guys on the next one.